Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Play the Tape. My name is Derek J. Fields. I am your host for today. All of my guests that come up here are going to be interesting and exciting, and they're going to have their testimonies and their stories. Full disclosure, we are not licensed, certified, or trained professionals. What we offer here is a platform, a safe platform where people like myself and my guests today can share their experience, strength, and hope. And by doing that, we offer love, faith, and recovery. So, therefore, I'd like to introduce my guest, my brother, Sam the Butcher. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine, Derek. How about yourself? Everything
I'm
okay?
Everything is good, man. I'm blessed. I listen. I thank you for being my inaugural guest, being my first guest. I appreciate you for doing that, and that means a lot to me. And so, thank you. I'm very honored that you're doing this for me, and I'm glad to have you on the show today. So,
I thank you for even considering me. Um, so my name is Sam. I am a grateful recovering addict. Um, as my name says right there, Sam the Butcher. I am a butcher, a certified butcher of 22 years. I do have all 10 of my fingers. You know. I just recently. Well, let me start from the beginning. All right, so I've been in this fellowship for 2 years, 2 months and 5 days. Uh, being abstinent, it's been 3 years, 2 months and 5 days. Um, what an incredible journey.
yes.
Uh, the, the beautiful thing about this journey is I've been able to find myself. I've been able to identify where I'm needed, what I can do, what I can't do, what I have control of, what I don't have control of. Um, definitely more in tune with myself, and especially more in tune with my higher power, who I choose to call God. Um, God has always been there for me. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I stepped away from God. I stepped away from His ways. I decided to go ahead and to go with my own understanding and my own, whatever you want to call it, lifestyle. And by doing so, that led me to about 30 years of active addiction.
What do you mean?
And
What do you mean? 30 years of active addiction, Sam? What do you mean by that?
30 what I mean about active addiction is going ahead and playing the system, dealing drugs, not caring how I was affecting other people's lives, not taking into consideration what would happen in the future to those that were around me, especially those that loved me. Um, and I would say you name it, and I've probably done it. Um, A to Z. I thought that was something cool. Like, oh yeah, I did acid, and then all the way down to Xanax, you could say.
Right.
And I thought it was something cool, but obviously doing the program and living the program has taught me that there's bigger, better things out there. There's more beautiful things out there. Rather than going ahead and I call it the domino effect of destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And that domino effect of destruction has cost many lives. And I admit it. I cry each and every single day because some of those lives that are not here right now. But each and every single day, I attend a meeting in my fellowship, I go ahead and I do service in my fellowship. That right there has helped me incredibly. Uh, I've sat there. I had a job where I was able to sit there for 7 hours and talk to one, two, three, four, five addicts. It right now I don't have that kind of job, so I can't. Unfortunately, I can't do that. But I'm sure there's somebody out there that has taken my place when it comes to that thing. Um, I started out at a very young age. I must have been about 13 years old when I first started like smoking weed and just doing whatever, drinking, doing whatever I wanted to do. My friend, his dad owned a bar. My friend who has passed away also. His dad owned a bar. We used to go over there. We used to watch. It was in Puerto Rico. We used to watch MTV and drink, and then
Hmm.
go back to class. How nice is that, right?
Right.
Um, then we went down to Florida. My mom and my father separated, and my mother thought it was a good idea to send my brother and I with my father because I have a little sister also. And so my sister stayed with my mother, and my brother and I went with our father. And this wonderful gentleman taught me how to roll my first joint, taught me how to sell weed, taught me how to steal cars, taught me how to deal cocaine. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be drug specific, but
That's fine. That's fine. That's okay.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine. No worries.
Excuse me. So, um, further, I thought it was okay. An adult was telling me, hey, it's okay to do. So I thought it was okay. So from there, my wonderful father, before I turned 18, said, when you're 18, you're out of the house. And I decided to leave right then and there. So I've been on my own since I was 17 years old. And I went ahead and, oh man, I, so, okay. So Florida,
Hmm.
when I was in Florida, I went ahead and I discovered LSD. I did LSD multiple times. I and I discovered that I had this I wouldn't call it a superpower, but I would call it ability.
Okay.
An ability to go ahead and to bring all those who are the same like-minded people together.
Right.
And next thing you know, there was about 18 runaways hanging out with me, and we're staying in this field with tents and all this stuff, and people kept on coming with me with little problems like, oh, this person stole a cigarette from me, this person said this about me and whatnot. It drove me mad. I had to leave. So thank God for my wonderful mother. She went ahead and I asked her for a plane ticket. I got the plane ticket. The next day, I was out of there. The next,
What made you decide to call your mother to get out of there?
she was the one that had the money, and she was the one that I knew that was probably a safer place for me to go,
Okay.
which was in Massachusetts. And my brother was already up there, so I went ahead and ended up in Massachusetts. I ended up doing the right thing, but I was still smoking weed and I was
Hmm.
still dealing weed. I was working. No such thing as a functioning addict.
Right.
And I
Agree.
thought I was a functioning addict because I was working. I had money in my pocket, and then soon enough, I was working in retail, and I found out that by being able to speak Spanish and English, I was able to go ahead and I was able to deal with the Colombians, and they had the cocaine, and then go ahead and deal with the mafia.
Mm-hmm.
They loved the cocaine
Yeah.
and they loved the pure stuff. And so with that, the mafia started providing me with marijuana, and the Colombians were providing me with cocaine. I I was making about $400 a day. Then what happened was I went ahead and, so let's just say Bob came by every Monday to
Mm-hmm.
buy some cocaine from me. And Bob would be like, Sam, you want to party? So I would go ahead and I'd party with Bob. Then Tiffany would stop by Tuesday and be like, hey, Sam, you want to party? And I'd party with Tiffany on Tuesday. And then Melvin would come by on Wednesday. Sam, you want to party? And then next thing you know, like 3 years pass by, and I have a sore nose because of doing so much stuff, and I still continued to deal, even though I stopped using as much, but still, um, who knows how many lives I affected? That's what I call the domino
The
effect of
domino effect.
destruction.
I like that. I really like that you coined it, or you came to understand, and it was a domino effect. Like whatever your choices were, it impacted other people, and it was a domino effect in that type of way. Negatively right now until you got to where you are right now, to where your domino effect is now more positive. Uh,
Yes,
that was a quick 3 years. That was a fast 3 years. Like
yes.
people don't understand how once you get caught up into your addiction, how time can just go by. So,
I I call it. This is what I say. I say, it's just being alive. It's
mm,
not. It's not living. Right now, I'm living,
right.
and there's a big difference between being alive and living, because right now I feel like I'm living up to my full potential. But um, continuing
The
with
three
my
years. Mm-hmm.
yeah, continuing with my story. I went ahead and my brother and I, my 2 year younger brother, Adam, um God rest his soul.
Amen.
Um he him and I got an apartment, and we got a roommate, and we just kept on dealing, and I mean, good, at least 10 years passed by that I was working, I was dealing, and my brother and I, we were just living it up. We thought we were living it up, and cars, girls, um and the path of destruction just kept on going. Now, mind you, I knew about my higher power, and
Mm-hmm.
I knew about God. I know a lot about God, and I knew what I was doing wasn't right. And that's the thing, deep down inside. I knew it wasn't right. I tried going into the methadone. Soon after my brother and I, we went ahead and unfortunately the lady of the house had passed away that was renting us the house. So we parted ways. He went with his girlfriend and I went with my girlfriend. And so my girlfriend and I, at the time, the girlfriend I had at the time, we were introduced to those wonderful things that are called OCs. And right there,
What's the OC, Sam? What's the
it's an
OC?
oxycodone,
Okay.
and it's an opiate.
Okay.
And this that was a pretty big downfall right there. I went ahead and I must have been doing about $300 a day easily myself of substances, easily.
Mm-hmm.
and that's drinking, OCs, and smoking weed, and basically whatever else I can get my hands on. Um, the when there came a point where I realized that I did have a problem, and I was like, "Oh, I have to stop."
How
And I
how old were you at that time when this realization came? You remember?
probably, probably about 25, 26 years old,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
Remember, that past is pretty blurry.
Right. I know.
Um,
I absolutely know.
um, uh, but I went ahead and I was like, I was afraid to go ahead and to just stop, So I went
Hmm.
ahead and I decided to go into the methadone program. And when I went into the methadone program, I ended up getting to a little bit of trouble, but and I'll be honest, straight up, I went
Please,
ahead and
please do.
I went to jail for 30 days for DUI before this had happened. I deserved that. I did get caught drunk driving. For this that they accused me of, which was assault and battery, um, I did not do. I was the one that called the police because somebody was coming after me with the 2x4. And it was a girl, and they ended up arresting me, believe it or not. So when they arrested me, I ended up going to court. They ended up giving me a year suspended sentence, and then I ended up in the government vacation for a full year. And but this is the thing. So I was still on the methadone program. And for all of you out there that don't know, I was on 132 milligrams of methadone daily.
Mm.
And when I went into the government vacation, uh, I didn't sleep for 23 days. Humanly impossible, you would think, right?
Right.
I must have gotten like little like micro naps or something. My brain would shut down for like 2 seconds. I would think hours passed by, and it was really like a half a minute,
Hmm.
And but for 23 days this happened until I was able to get a full night of sleep. So, um, I ended up going to my government vacation for a full year. Um, I ended up when I was in there, I ended up becoming part of an organization because obviously you need help and you need to help others, and that's just the way it is in the government vacation. And I stuck with my kind. I stuck with my Spanish Latino people, and I became one of the top guys when I was in that organization because I am able to speak Spanish and English
Hmm.
better than most of them. And still, even in there, I still smoked weed. I was in charge of the cigarettes. So I was still wheeling and dealing, even in my government vacation. Then, after I got out of my government vacation, I I still I didn't do any. I was deathly afraid of methadone
Right.
because of what had happened to me those
Hmm.
23 days. It was pretty nightmarish, and I tried to stay away from that. But then I found these other things that are called Percocets,
Hmm.
and I ended up one of my friends ended up hooking me up with the Percocet, and I ended up doing Percocets here and there and everywhere. The next thing you know, I had a habit again, and now this habit continued on until oof, even even when I got married. Um, uh, Even when I got married. So what happened was I was with this girl, and then she ended up leaving me. and I found Facebook, and I found an old friend, a really a girl that was really my good friend
Mm-hmm.
from back in the days. Excuse me. And her and I clicked really good. Her and her boyfriend had broken up. She had two daughters, and we decided to get married, and it was a beautiful thing. I admitted I loved being married. I
Right.
loved each and every single moment of it. I was married for almost. I was 3 months shy of 8 years being married. Um, I firmly believe that God had blessed me with an angel and two little angels, but there was a problem. Uh, I went ahead and as I said, I work as a butcher, and I had this pain, and I would always get stuff from the street. And what happened was, I ended up finding out that I had a herniated disc in my neck between
Mm-hmm.
C6 and C7, and a bright light bulb went off in the top of my head saying, "Oh, I can go ahead and I can get prescribed medication."
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And I started that's when I really started doing getting into my I had it prescribed. It's legal. I could go ahead, I could carry it around, I could do whatever I want to do.
Yep.
Um
That's the playing the tape in that direction.
yes.
Yes.
Oh man.
We're all familiar with that one.
So genius me, my wife goes ahead and she had broken her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, her wonderful ex had broken her arm, and she couldn't get a cast on because she was pregnant, and she couldn't get x-rays and the stories like that, and her hand never healed the right way. So genius me, I go ahead and I'm like, oh, I knew a pain doctor. So I'm thinking, oh, double the medication. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Hmm.
Um, Point is, I ended up dragging her down with me. She ended up becoming addicted, and when the medication would run out, obviously, what would you do? You'd have to go to the street
Right.
and get get the medication from there. So one night, her and I ended up going out to the street, getting some street medication, and this is when fentanyl first hit the streets. And I did double of what she did. Um, I was It was about 20 minutes to midnight on the 4th of January, and I was playing video games, and I passed out for about 12 minutes. Yeah, 12 minutes.
It's okay, brother. It's okay.
after after I woke up, I looked to the other side of the bed, and I could see that my wife wasn't she didn't look like she was nodding. And now I was trained to do CPR and all this stuff, and I knew what this addiction consisted of, and I knew what could have happened. So I had Narcan available. um, I had gone to detox 3 times during my marriage to prove to her that it can get done, and and tried to go ahead but she was still using when I came out.
Mm-hmm.
I lasted about a month, maybe 2 months, and then next thing you know, I'd be right back in that hole again. And until that one night, and that one night, those 12 minutes, I went ahead and I gave her two things in Narcan. I did CPR on her. I called 911, but it was too late. She was gone. She was gone. No superhero and no prayer in the world was ever going to bring her back. That was the first time in my life that I was in shock. First time in my life. The whole night passed by, and I was in shock. My sister had to come the next day, and she was like, I can see her clearly today, saying, as if it was today, Sam, you gotta go. You basically ended up killing her this Sally's daughter, and that's when I kind of woke up from my shock, and I ended up going with my sister. Um, but yes, I lost my beautiful angel. That should have never happened. Um, she had two daughters, which I raised. I would cook for them. I did everything, and
You still have relation? Do you still communicate with her daughters? Do you still have a
no,
relationship? Okay.
no, that's what I was gonna say. They don't want to speak to me because they blame me. They say it was me, that it was my fault. Although she was an adult and she made her own decisions, but they blame me. So I don't speak to them. So right there, I got like, I didn't just lose my wife. I lost my two kids too, you
Yeah.
could say,
Yeah. You lost
because
your family. I definitely can relate to that in addiction and mental health. So I
yeah.
can relate to that. Yeah, really can.
So after after her passing, I ended up going ahead and I ended up going to Puerto Rico for about 3 months, and still, even when I went to Puerto Rico, I was able to get my prescription in Massachusetts and make money. Even though I wasn't using for those 3 months, I still had somebody that was able to pick up my prescription and go ahead and sell it and make money like that. And then after Puerto Rico, I ended up moving back to Massachusetts with my sister. My sister couldn't have any people at the house, so I ended up renting a basement out. And in the house where I rented the basement out, there were this lady and her daughter, and they were users. And I ended up selling a lot of my prescription to them. Although I wasn't using, I was still dealing and still affecting other people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Then, soon after that, I was on Facebook one day, and I I was on the site. It was called the. It was a widowers support site, and I met a widow, and the widow lived in New York. I was living in Massachusetts, so the widow and I, um, we hit it off pretty well, and the widow herself had back problems, and she didn't take all of her prescriptions. I had buyers. So I told her, I was like, hey, you can send me your prescriptions. And next thing you know, I started taking some. And next thing you know, um, I was addicted again and down that rabbit hole again. And then I moved to New York to be with the widow. And the widow had hooked me up with her doctor that was giving her prescriptions. And yet again, I found another doctor, and I still had it legally, and I was using throughout most of that relationship also. Um, but during that relationship, the widow didn't like me drinking because I couldn't. Her son, she had two kids. Her son was older, and he was working, and I couldn't pick him up from work. So she was like, "Oh, it's an embarrassment that you can't pick up my son from work because you're drinking, and I gotta go pick up my son." And she worked all day long, and I worked all day long also. But still, then that's when I stopped drinking, and I was just taking my prescription medication as prescribed only, not more, not exceeding the limit, and not, but still. Then after that, um, the widow ended up getting a serious operation, a spinal fusion, and I took care of that widow for a full year. I bathed her, I cooked. Her mom would help also, and I would cook for her, the kids, but it was me. I would gently lift her up, take her to the shower, gently lift her up, take her to the bathroom. For a full year, I did this, and throughout that full year, six. I would. I'm gonna say 3 months. The last 3 months of that year is when I discovered um the fellowship that I'm in, and that's when I went ahead and, after 6 months of me being in that fellowship, that's when I went ahead and this widow seen the big difference in me, seeing that I actually had sunshine coming through
Mm-hmm.
me. And I was
Right.
actually living, and I was actually being able to. I could do anything I want. Um, Go ahead.
What made you at that time you were with the widow and everything that was transpiring at that time? What made you join that fellowship at that particular time in your life? What was the
As they,
jumping off point?
as they say, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick and tired of waking up in the morning and being a slave to this drug. I was done. Done. We're talking now. We're into like the 30th year, almost the
Okay.
30th year,
Okay.
and I was just done. I couldn't do it anymore. And
Now that
so
you had the sunshine on your face, you know.
yes, so then the widow decided. COVID had hit,
Mm-hmm.
and when COVID hit, the widow had no choice because there was no physical therapy, and she had a spinal fusion. She had a lot of pain, so she had no choice but to take her pain pills. So making then she became addicted. And while I wasn't using, but now she's addicted. And then she, after like 6 months of me not using and doing the fellowship and doing what I'm supposed to do, she seen the big difference, and then she decided to go ahead and to join the fellowship also. Um, about 5 months into the fellowship, of her being into the fellowship, me almost 11 months. It was almost 11 months. Yes. My half sister committed suicide. Um, 3 days later, the widow decided that she didn't want to be with me. She said she needed to go find herself. I can understand that coming from a 23-year-old, but from a 43-year-old, I didn't understand that. I knew something else was up. I just I'm not gonna talk bad about the widow because the widow helped me out a lot, and she was the one that I wanted to marry. So, but point is, um, she ended up dumping me in the middle of New York. I didn't know where I'm at. I was able to find the job really quick because I'm a butcher, and I found the job really quick, and I found a room for rent right near my job, and I still, although I still continued on, I'm still with the fellowship. Um, point is, a month after the so my half sister committed suicide. By the way, a year before my wife passed away, my half brother committed suicide at 23 years old. Not even a year after his anniversary, that's when my wife passed away. The same stuff that I was saying to his girlfriend, I was going to be saying to myself. Then, after that, my best friend passed away um, due to fentanyl in Massachusetts. And I was living here in New York. And then my half sister committed suicide. Then the widow dumped me here in New York. And then a month after that is when I lost my 2 year younger brother who was in Puerto Rico with my mother, and he was out there using street drugs. And sadly, my mom found him, and that was a killer right there. I'm still seeking trauma therapy, and because I know I'm not okay in the head. I'm not okay. I'm I may be doing my fellowship and all this stuff, helping other people, but when it comes to my head and mentally, because I cry each and every single day, and it's okay to cry.
It
It's
is. It is
it's
okay
okay
to
to
cry. It is okay to cry. Absolutely.
it's okay to feel feelings,
Mm-hmm.
but when sometimes when those feelings stop you from just functioning sometimes, I don't think that that's okay. I should be able to get over those feelings. I'm not using on those over those feelings, but it's still something that I need to seek some therapy, which I admit I'm trying to find some therapy, a therapist, a good therapist, a therapist that can understand me. The last therapist I had, she was too young. She didn't know nothing about anything. Um, point is, uh, right now, today, it's been 2 years, as I said, 2 years, 2 months and 5 days that I've been in this fellowship. I can say today that I'm living. Yes. Thank you.
Of course,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Of course.
And
It,
actually, go ahead.
I'm glad you mentioned therapy, and I'm glad you mentioned the mind, because both mental health and addiction can coincide together. You can have one or the other. You can have both. I'm dual diagnosed myself with mental health and substance use disorder. I wanted to ask, with everything, all the trials and tribulations, all the challenges, everything that has attacked your spirit, your mind, and your body, how are you here today? Like you say, living, not just surviving, but living. You are a survivor, but not you're living as well. And you have sunshine still on your face, Sam. Yes, your shine hasn't went anywhere. And I want you to let people know how you got here now. What things did you have to do now so you didn't have to go back to using or picking up? Because I feel like that's very important.
Yes. First of all, I had to acknowledge that I had a problem. I had to. Inside of us, there's a beast, and inside of us, there's an old Indian saying that there's two wolves,
Mm-hmm.
and that there's a black wolf and a white wolf, and one that feeds off of good and kindness and all that beautiful stuff, and then there's a bad wolf that feeds off of envy and all this stuff like that. And supposedly the story
Mm-hmm.
goes like this: that depends on which one you feed, that one wins. But in all actuality, you have to balance and feed them both, because if you go ahead and if you just feed the white wolf, then people are going to walk all over you. People are going to take advantage of you. People are going to are going to are it's not, you're not going to stand up for yourself. So you do have to go ahead and you do have to feed that black wolf also, and not let people walk all over you. You got to be strong and say no to certain drugs and certain scenarios and whatnot. By doing the fellowship, admitting that I had a problem, number one, going ahead and doing these steps in the fellowship in the order that they are, by going ahead and doing service in this fellowship, finding my higher power.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing
Mm-hmm.
is finding my higher power, because I stepped away from my higher power. And that's what happened. By coming back to my higher power, and I know that my higher power is all forgiving and all loving and wants what's best for me, I have been able to get to the point where I'm at today. And today, I do not, let's just put it this way, I don't do life. I'm following my dreams in hopes that life catches up with me, rather than doing life in hopes that my dreams catch up with me. So,
I like that. I like that.
yesterday yesterday doesn't need me. I can't live in the past. Yesterday doesn't need me. My future needs me, for sure. My future is the one that needs me. And whoever else is going to be there in my life in the future need me.
Mm, right.
Today, if I sacrifice a couple of years, my future self is going to be very, very, very grateful that I went ahead and I sacrificed a couple of years
Right.
to go ahead and to do the right thing, mentally and physically. Because if I'm going ahead and if I'm it goes hand in hand. If I'm using, I'm not going to be able to mentally be there
Right.
and be able
Right.
to acknowledge what's going on at this minute right now.
In the moment. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm doing right now. All I have is control of what's going on in this moment, this minute right now. The 10 minutes from now, as I said, 12 minutes. In 12 minutes. That's why I brought up the 12-minute thing. My wife was gone. My whole life was changed. It was flipped upside down. 12 minutes I passed out. And so none of us are promised, not even 5-10 minutes from now.
Absolutely not.
And this is why I'm living in the moment. I'm following my dreams rather than doing life. And you can call me a rebel. I'm not doing anything illegal right now. I got a job. I took a butchers get paid pretty well. I sacrificed that butcher job to go ahead and to spend the summer outside focusing on my photography and going ahead and fine tuning the little tweaks here and there with my photography. By the way, I went to YouTube University for photography. All right. I went ahead and I dived into YouTube to figure out everything that I had to do for the photography. I've been an artist at heart since I was a little kid,
Mm-hmm.
and I draw. I do a lot of things. Um, I can carve. I've even done tattoos. My name is Samuel. My brother's name was Adam. No relation to the beer because my mom is
Right.
she's religious. Both names came from the Bible, and and we were gonna open up a business, a tattoo business called Sam Adams Tattoo Shop. I'm the oldest, he's the younger one, so that's why my name was gonna come ahead of his.
Right.
But yeah, no, today I go ahead and today I'm actually focused on my photography. I'm working right now an assistant manager for a storage facility, a $1 million corporation. There's room for growth, which I
Mhm.
did all my research. I'm not that type of person. That's why I became a butcher. I'm not that type of person that I can sit there and work and have people like breathing down my throat. That's why I became a butcher because
Right.
you can't hurry a butcher. 'Cause next thing you know, Claude, there goes your hand or there goes your finger. So I kind of found another job that's almost like that also, where I'm working more independently.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm definitely focusing on on first of all my recovery,
Absolutely.
my relationship with my higher power,
Yeah, absolutely.
and my photography. My old Go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
we got a little bit of maybe like 13 minutes, and you speak of your photography, and you speak of your dreams, and you speak of where God has placed you now. I want you to share about your photography. I've seen some of your pictures, some of your drawings. They're beautiful, and I want you
Thank you.
to. You're welcome. I want you to talk about where people can find those, or where other projects and endeavors that you're doing. I would love for you to share with us within the time that we have now, um, and how these things keep you grounded and keep you in your recovery and help you stay on the path, that journey.
Uh, First of all, not there's beauty everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's beauty everywhere, and life. I see it like this. It's like being a photographer. All right, life it's about perspective. If I don't find that shot that I want, I need to go ahead and sometimes I need to change the lens. Sometimes I need to get down on a knee. Sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
need to stand up higher or anything. So it's all about perspective. I believe life is
Mm-hmm.
so. You have to sometimes do make these accommodations and be uncomfortable doing certain things, and but then you get that shot. You get
That's
that
that's beautiful. That you can relate that to recovery. You can. That's
yes,
a beautiful thing. You have to take different perspectives, different angles,
yes,
be uncomfortable to get to a point where you are comfortable, and your journey is unfolding for you. I really like the way you said that and how you think about that. I never looked at it as photography as in a way that could be also equivalent to recovery, because there's going to be different perspectives, different angles, different things that you might have to do to get where you need to be, to get that shot, to get that shot.
exactly.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that.
So
To get that shot. Yes.
I went ahead and I made a promise to my higher power.
Mm-hmm.
And most of all to myself, and I don't want to break my word, and I haven't broken my word yet. So I asked my higher power. I said, God, please, you go ahead and you guide my eye, and you help me, and I will always give you credit. So my photography is not me. It's
Right.
really my higher power
Absolutely.
that's guiding me.
I agree.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just clicking away, and you've seen some of my work that
Absolutely.
some animals just happen to be there, like a squirrel with a half a tail.
Yeah.
There's an eagle, falcons, sea turtles. Um, you, you get to see there's one out of every 10,000 sea turtles make it to adulthood, and for me to be able to get a picture of one on the beach, that's extremely rare. You think
Yeah.
about it. Who else
Absolutely.
but my higher power?
Right.
But I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram under Kurt in Vain, like Kurt Cobain, but it's KURTINV as in Victor, EIN. And but my real name is an artist mad with two D's. And what that means is an artist, I'm an artist, and they're all together. And the mad, it's almost like the Mothers Against Drunk Drivers,
Mm-hmm.
but it's for me personally, it's me against drug dealers,
I like that.
because that's what and I'm mad. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm really mad at this whole situation with the government. I'm not even gonna get into it, but it just pisses me off that people are just turning their heads and just letting so many people die over nothing,
Mm-hmm.
when we know exactly where the problem is coming from and we know exactly what to do,
Right.
and nobody's doing anything about it. And we have to go out there and help each other out. My ultimate goal is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make a book, and I'm gonna put in, as I mentioned earlier, I have two half siblings. They took their lives at 23 years old, 4 years apart. 23 years old. How bad could your life be? And they weren't addicted to anything. 4 years apart, they took their lives. Same way. I lost my wife due to addiction. I lost my brother due to addiction. I lost numerous friends due to addiction. So what I'm gonna do is I want to make a book and put the most beautiful things in that book, the things that they can't see anymore, the things that they can't appreciate anymore, but us that are still here
Mm-hmm.
can. And I'm gonna bring up addiction awareness and suicide awareness
Awesome.
in this book. Now, half of that money is going to go obviously to me to live, because I got to live, but the other half is going to go to a house for mothers who are addicted and who are ashamed, and have no place to go and have kids, and it's going to go for a house for them, and they could remain anonymous. I don't care. They could stay there for 6 months to a year until they get on their feet, and they can call themselves my wife's my wife's name, because I'm going to name it after my wife,
Mm-hmm.
Tanya's house. So they can call themselves Tanya for all I care while they're there,
Right.
but the whole point is that's what my mission is, and that's what I want to do, and that's what my ultimate goal is. But go ahead.
I believe you will. Um, I believe you're going to accomplish everything that you want to because you're being of service for a higher purpose. Um, it's been put in your heart to do so, just like myself. And I want to say kudos to you for being strong and giving back hope and experience and love and faith through being of service to people, because that's where it starts. And I want to commend you for that. And
Thank you.
everything that you're doing, I know I have a higher power, my most high God. My most high I choose to call God. I know He will continuously bless you in your journey of recovery, in your journey of love, faith, and hope. And we got about 5 minutes left, and I just want to thank you, Sam, for your testimony and your story. And you will be back up here. Again,
Thank
you will
you.
be a recurring guest. I love you, brother,
Love
so
you too.
much. You take care, and God bless you, brother. And thank you again for being up here. It means a lot.
Listen, what I like to say to anybody who is listening, um, today is a beautiful day. Today's a good day to make it a great day. Live now, live now. Don't just be alive, and follow your dreams, because and tell those people that you love today that you love them,
Mm,
because you don't know if tomorrow's gonna come or not. Forgive. You have to forgive. You can't live in the past. You can't live with any regrets. The past doesn't need you. Your future needs you. And it's there's no better feeling than to give without expecting anything in return.
absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
think about it. It's it's
Absolutely.
it's a beautiful feeling. Derek, I thank you so very much for allowing me to be. Yo, God bless you. Love you, bro.
Love you too.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you. Me too. I our paths are in sync now. They always been in sync.
Oh yeah.
But we have a lot of good works to do, and I'm excited to see your journey, and I'm excited to be a part of yours, and you be a part of mine. But I love you, brother. Until next time, God bless.
All right. God bless you,
God
Derek.
bless you.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'll talk
sir.
to you soon enough. All
Peace.
right.
All right. Yes, brother. Um, just want to say thank you to everyone that's listening or tuning in to another episode of Play the Tape. Um, this is something I feel like is going to help a lot of people um, with the experience, strength, and hope in the way through love, faith, hope, and recovery. Um, I, for me, my way to peace is through understanding, and with understanding comes love, and with love comes sharing and caring and joy. So, God bless you. Peace be with you in your journey of mental health and addiction, because this is what Play the Tape is about right here. You're not alone. There's a community of brothers and sisters just like us that are willing to jump in that hole with you because we know the way out. God bless you. You have a great day, and I see you soon. Peace.